But all right, so a quick overview. She does some cool things, NFTs, paintings, but you probably heard about her before, and you can look her up. And if you want to know more, you can check out her info and her Discords. But she wants to use this time to speak about different topics and have a little conversation in here. So we're gonna let her take it away about what she wants to speak about without like summarizing it, and then anybody in the booth is welcome to chime in and ask, and it's a conversation. So there you go.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brickman. And if anybody in your Twitch submits a question or maybe a comment for you to bring up, I would love for you to be able to.
Yeah, if I see anything in Twitch, I'll read it out loud. And anybody here in the booth, the Twitch is now at the bottom right, so you're gonna want to mute that so you don't hear the echo. Thank you.
Also, Shnazzy, it was brought to my attention that your Twitter link at your booth is outdated, so you got to update that link. And we can just probably get that link in the chat.
All right, yeah, it should. Here, let me pull it up for you real quick.
Hey, you know what? I got your booth open. I'm going to update that for you right now, Shnazzy.
Oh, you're the best. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That. Oh, you guys are amazing. See, all right. Just jumping into it, just having this in general is really like having a support system, right? And whenever I started this before Breakman's Twitch really could hear what we were talking about, it was this conversation I want to facilitate is really just how to maintain your creativity no matter what's happening around you, and really how to have the self-efficacy to become who you want to be, even whenever things feel really heavy and it feels like you have a lot weighing on your shoulders, and just how to raise that personal cap for success and how to raise that personal threshold for how to deal with these things as they come. And having a support system, this was one of my points I wanted to talk about, helps a lot. You know, whenever you communicate what it is that you want out of life with people, even if it's something like, oh, I want to have this conversation, and Waffles Kitty is like, oh, well, your Twitter links down, people who might want to connect with you later won't have this way to do it, and then Peter is able to come and be like, I can actually update that for you right now, don't sweat it. That's a support system, and that alone is just, you know, that's really powerful in this space, and it's especially powerful whenever you have just creative drive. And it can feel really isolating when you're a creative. I'm sure a lot of people in this booth have felt in the past like nobody understands them, or, you know, like what's the point of doing this. Sometimes whenever things get really hard, and just being able to communicate with like-minded individuals, which is what I'm most thankful for being in blockchain tech, and having the ability to talk on Twitter to people worldwide who are on the same kind of wavelength that I am about trying new things and being creative in a pioneering, burgeoning world of technology and Web3. And it's just really, really powerful to have this support system and being a part of an ecosystem that gives each other value and gives each other the ability to kind of look out and say, oh, there's other people going through this with me. I don't have to isolate myself. I don't have to go through this alone. I can communicate what I'm struggling with, and other people can provide different perspectives to help me be able to move forward. And I can provide my own perspective and my own voice, which is the most powerful thing as an artist or as a creative individual in general, to give to other people and maybe help them grow in some way as well. And that's kind of the dynamic that we should have in this space. And I'm really grateful for you guys to help me out like that, because not only did you help update the Twitter link for me, but you also helped segue into this conversation the way that I think is the most powerful, with the most important aspect and point. So I want to thank you guys for that a lot.
Well, we thank you.
Yeah, well, talking about that, I mean, how cool is it that everything happened in the past with the way that this convention used to be ran and what NFTOPIA became out of it whenever, you know, Waffles Kitty wanted to keep facilitating that. She loved hosting it. We loved coming to this, and like, you guys came together and made it happen in NFTOPIA. Like, how cool is that? That's part of having
Yeah, that's exactly on topic. That's exactly what you're talking about. Waffles Kitty had the news hit her on the weekend of, I may say, okay, 2 days before DigiCon 12, like, they told her, that, hey, you're laid off, and this is the last one that we're doing. Like, what?
It was like during our AMA, huh?
Yeah, it was right before our AMA. It's like, wait, what? And you're left with this void. You know, I've had similar stories like that, and but the community was here. We're not alone. We're trying to help each other. We want to, and exactly, everybody wanted to continue, and we got together, and here we are. And something similar for Shnazzy, which you can continue going, but you had kind of a similar thing happen, and ups and downs, and it seems to be like you're on the up now, which is amazing to hear. So yeah. Congrats to that.
And yeah, well, exactly. I wouldn't have that without you, though. Whenever I got laid off at Wax in December, that was a hard thing to experience. However, I just wanted to keep going because I knew that if I kept pushing forward and I tried to reprioritize myself and I tried to reprioritize what I actually wanted out of life, which was to be an artist, it helped me move forward even when I didn't know what to do. And you were like, yeah, well, if you start a Twitch, I'm gonna make sure that I do everything I can to support you in doing it. And that was really powerful. And you still message me about it. And I'm really grateful, even though my Twitch streams have been really more sporadic instead of scheduled. And that kind of support and that kind of love, that is, and dare I say it, just out of the greatness and the kindness of your heart, is just unmet. And this is the feel goods. This is what I think everyone needs to be able to hear and see and really appreciate more, because a lot of times we take these kind of interactions for granted in life, and maybe we don't see the people who are outreaching their hand to kind of uplift you. I mean, I didn't even enter the wax space if it weren't for Crypto Kumas and Brett Blackberg, like just being able to recognize that. Yeah, no, it's so true, because they're the ones who are talking about wax. They were building on wax when I was on Ethereum.
Yeah,
they also had Ethereum programs. People. What'd you say, Waffles?
Awesome. I was just saying they're both awesome people. Great hype man.
Yeah, and they both care, and that's it. They are awesome people. And if you don't know Brett Blackberg or Crypto Kumas, you definitely need to get to know them. And Kumas is in this chat right now, so lurking. He's always watching.
I'm here, guys. I'm here. I'm listening. I got there's tears falling down my eyes. I appreciate it, Shnazzy. Thank you.
It's all love, absolutely, and love and support, which is amazing. And I've felt the same. Not different situations, but in the past year, the support I've gotten from Wax community has really lifted me up as well, and I appreciate it too. Because without it, I wouldn't be doing a lot of the things I'm doing right now. So
hold on, I just have to comment that someone put in the chat, Brett is a sexy man. I agree. Brett is a sexy man. No, I love Brett. He's a good friend. He's a good dude. I don't know about sexy man. I don't know, but I mean, we all have our opinions. But no, Brett's a good guy. Definitely a good guy. I'll let him know that you said he's sexy.
That'll make him feel really excited. I think he's
all excited. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but and we have to give credit where it's due to for ourselves, right? Like, everybody in this room is here because they were open to trying new things, right? And so that's, I think, one of the most important aspects of being a creative, is that you really embrace flexibility in life, right? If I wasn't open to just keep jumping into art after I was laid off from Wax, maybe I wouldn't have blasted on the blockchain. Maybe I would have gone back to Web 2, being a cake decorator like I was before. In the past life before I got blockchain integrated, and that wouldn't have gotten me anywhere. That wouldn't have made me who I want to be as like a painter one day that people know about, like a household painter name. That's what I want. And that wouldn't have helped me get there. And if I wasn't open to keep pushing forward, or like struggling a little bit until I could figure out how to make my way to support my family, then I wouldn't be here. And you guys wouldn't be here. You guys didn't have to take the risk that you did of putting yourselves out there, being vulnerable with people and building something, putting it in front of someone to be able to judge all they want, and you being okay with that, unless you were open to this new experience. And a lot of people close themselves off on experiences, but everyone in this room opened themselves to learning something that they weren't comfortable with before, and just opening that aspect up of them. And that's why we're all here. And that's why this support system works, is because we can all relate to that foundation of a mentality. And that's why I fucking love this. And that's why I feel like this is the reminder that I think that I needed to hear and have and be able to facilitate. And I hope that it's helping you guys get into that mindset too. Because I mean, like, we all should be like high-fiving each other, because holy shit, like, we're such a small percentage of people who A, know about what blockchain is, B, like, know what cryptocurrency is, know why it's important, C, understand how to mint an NFT or how to buy an NFT, even know what it means to like do minor amounts of minor amounts of code work to be able to make it all happen and sell something and have, this entrepreneur mindset and push forward. And like, it's such a small fraction of people who know how to do that, and we're those people. And sometimes we need to remember, like, oh, I am capable. Like, look at what we've done. Look at what all of us in here have
take
done.
it beyond that too. Like, that's just the general knowledge of like the space and how to do it, but the creative spark to do it and create that community and experiment, because this is all Wild West a lot of times. Learning from others, but experimenting what is best for your collection, your community, and then staying positive when things don't go the way you want. And then a lot of times we all have jobs too. We're not, especially starting out, you're not going to make money on this for a living for a long time probably. So it's all kind of like a side hustle. And that just puts the damper on more. So I just want to stress, like, all the creators, everybody here with a logo, and everywhere else, most of them are independents and are just really pushing hard, and they're doing it because they love it that much. They love the creative spark that much. I'm included.
Yeah,
I
I
love
think
creating,
for a
so.
lot of people, it's like dreams. You know what I mean? Like, even what Shnazzy wants to do, like, it's just kind of living out those dreams, whether it be, childhood dreams or even current adulthood dreams, like, that you still have, that are just something that it's like, you can't duck it. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, my kid's shouting in the background, but like,
You're
you
good.
can't hide from it. Like, your
As we
dreams
do.
that you want to accomplish. So it's not about whether I have enough money to survive and other, like, I have a job, I have this. But for me personally, it's about, like, it's what I've always wanted to do. It's something I've always wanted to accomplish. And here in NFTs and in this tech, like, I had that chance to be able to do it different than it seemed like I'd have been able to in any other fashion. Like, to kind of be able to tell the narrative of the Kumas in this kind of active experience that everyone, it's just different stuff that you get to do here that I don't think you get to do in any other space. And I think that there's a rich culture that comes with this NFT stuff that will be talked about for future generations. So
Nice.
yeah,
Well said. Well said. Shouts to our raid we just got of 24. Thank you, Custom TV. So sneakery. Welcome, everybody. We're here at NFTOPIA. You guys can come too. bit.ly/NFTOPIA 2. And we're in Nouveau Hall. We're talking with Shnazzy. And we're talking about, just the life of a creative and keeping your spirits when things don't go the way that you planned, and having the support of the community from both community, like users and collectors, and also other creators. It's like a family. Wax fam, indeed. I think Crypto, you guys, or Kumas, you guys coined that, Wax fam. I don't know. You had the first Wax Wednesday space.
Yeah, we
I know you're proud of that.
weren't the Wax fam. I'll give that. I think that was kind of, someone created that prior to me coming to this space, but it's something that everyone adopted. But
well,
yeah, me and Brett,
it's very accurate. Like, it's Wax fam here, Wax family. Like, and a lot of friends I have now too over the past year that I'm closer to, people I know in real life for sure, all over the world. So that's something I just love. It's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing, and I do want to highlight what Kumas was talking about right before hand too, because it's so important. These are your dreams, right? Like if you're in this call right now and you're not pursuing that childhood dream, why? Like, what was that dream, and what made you stop yourself? Like, why did you limit yourself from trying to achieve it? And I think that's what we all in here who are trying to make those a reality recognize. It's like, well, what did we stop ourselves? Why did we stop ourselves from doing what we ultimately wanted to do? I think it's really important to actually pursue your actual passions, because the only thing standing between you and the you want to be is your actions. And the only thing that you have to do to get to be that person you want to be is act on it, and to be that, and to change the mindset. You get to wake up and choose how you act that day. You get to wake up and you get to choose how you perceive yourself to be, what you think your personality traits are. You get to choose that. And knowing that power and having that ability to know what you want to be one day is the most freedom you can give yourself, because all of a sudden you can start taking those actions. You can start making that step forward. You can start making that dream a reality. And it all comes down to understanding what that is that you want to do. Do you want to be someone who creates a new flavor of ice cream? Well, by God, if you're not testing out different flavors combinations, you're never going to get there. If you're not in there in the kitchen, even attempting to do that, you're not going to make that progress that you wanted to do, and that's limiting yourself to being
And
your ultimate potential.
And one step at a time too. Like keep that in mind,
Absolutely.
especially if you're still doing the day job and you're just thinking, man, I want to do something, because that's where it usually starts. Okay, myself included. I don't want to do this forever. I want to do what I like and get paid for it. But don't start with your dream. Okay, it's going to be a road. It's going to be a journey. You're going to learn along the way, tenfold. I mean, like 50-fold. You're going to learn, including your fan base. Whenever you start getting whatever creatives you have and get people liking it, they're going to also give feedback, and you're going to grow as you do it. You take it one step at a time and start with the small steps, and that's all there is to it. Waffles Kitty here, she just created her own collection last week. That's the first step. So she wanted to do a whole bunch of things at once, but Drawn Company's like, hey, let's slow down a little. It's like, yeah, let's just start with a drop, do this, do that.
He was good at that.
Don't try to take everything up. And heck, with you, Waffles, we got this convention too to deal with. But
I know.
yeah, and just go from there. There's nothing wrong with starting small. Starting with a little, if it's an NFT, start with a little drop. Try to see what people do, spread the word. You don't have to plan out 2 years ahead while you're sitting there in your cubicle. So just a lot of times it's just going out there and starting something, seeing how it feels. And if it doesn't feel right, then maybe you want to pivot or do something else.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you never know how much people love what you have to offer, and you reveal it to them. You know what I mean? Like, and then you'd be surprised because there's almost like this mental dynamic that draws you back to think that people aren't supposed to accept what you have to offer in this world, whatever it may be, whether it's art or whatever. But once you do that and you see that people love it and enjoy it and embrace it, it really changes your dynamic on how you perceive things like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it breathes new life to you too. So yeah, if you don't have any of that and then you start getting people that like your stuff as a creative, it really, really hits home for you. So we really appreciate when it happens, but that also kind of pounds it through, it validates you a little bit whenever you get that kind of feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. I love what you said, Brakeman, because it really is important not to overwhelm yourself with setting your own expectations, right? Doing even
by the way, I'm very bad at that. Okay, I'm always tackling on huge things at all times, but it's good advice though to try to keep it small.
Well, no. I mean, think about it though. I mean, there is absolutely a difference between taking a small step forward and not taking one at all.
Exactly.
That is such a big difference. And having expectations of yourself isn't a bad quality at all, because maybe having those unrealistic expectations made you push boundaries that maybe you hadn't pushed before too. So there's a lot of forgiveness for yourself there that I think that we all could use. And there's also enough to know if I take 0.5%, like if I actively try to do 0.05% of what my dream is to be, I'm making progress towards my dream. Even if that means if I want to be a painter one day, if I sat down and I gessoed my canvases, that puts me a step closer to being a painter than it would be if I didn't do anything that day to get there. And those percentages add up over time. And that's the reality of the situation. It's not a overnight you're going to change dramatically to be who you ultimately want to be, but you're going to wake up every morning with the ability to make that 0.5% change. And I want to really address that, because you're right, Brakeman. It's really important to know what you're capable of doing, and to know that while you're pushing those boundaries, because it's going to be a process. It's basically like healing all of the internal programming you have from how you were raised, from what kind of condition of a life you had when you were a child, to how you grew up, any kind of major events that happened. It's you taking that basic programming of how your brain works and turning it into working for you, creating a way for you to become who you want to be. And that's not an easy feat, and it's something that you can get overwhelmed if it becomes obsessive. But that's why it's good to just understand, ultimately, who would I like to be one day? What would that version of me do right now? And that's how I'm going to make that step forward.
Boom, well said. And this doesn't have to apply to creative works either. We're creators here. But anything at all, what is your dream job, you know? And then what is the first step to it? And whenever you move and actually make those little actions towards it, other than just thinking about it, right? If you're just thinking about it and you're not doing anything, it's going to remain that way. But if you figure out your first step and you achieve that first step, then that first step is done. You're going to feel so good about just being just a little nudge forward. You're like, hey, I'm really doing this, you know? It doesn't mean you're quitting your job. So you don't have to, you're still making your money. This is all like just baby steps on the side, hustle. Don't worry about putting everything on the line at this kind of stage at all. So just do what you can on the side, and you should be enjoying the progress. If you're working towards your dream. Now sometimes like we have just been saying, it can get very overwhelming. So if you have too much, now it's going to bog down your lifestyle. But if you just take, instead of watching TV or playing video games for X amount of hours or whatever other leisure activity, and just spend an hour seeing what your first step is. And if you don't know, maybe learn. The internet is out there, and also there's people here. So if you have any questions to help, especially if you're creative and that's your avenue, if it's art or music, NFTs, then you should be asking WaxFam what they think too, and they'll help you. But otherwise, get on the Google, get on the YouTube. This is how I learned how to do all my graphic design, all my video making. It was all self-taught using YouTube, so over years. So, but it's over baby steps just to do it. And and if your dream involves a degree, then maybe it's time to start seeing maybe there's an online version of this degree, things like that. So whatever it is in your life, it can apply to you. Everything we're talking can apply to you. Or if you're living your dream life already, then power to you. That's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, then speak up. We need examples of how to get there. Yeah, because a lot of us are. Nobody's got it figured out. I say that there are people who have achieved their dream and keep pursuing the life that they want to live, but they haven't given us all the details. All we get to do is pick up on what we can learn from them. And I think there's a lot of power to that, and being able to have a clear communication with people who are like-minded, who want to achieve something great one day. We are all able to uplift each other in the space and ultimately be that collaborative, mental, just really support system. That's the best way I can describe it. Is it's really just, we're here for each other. We're here for each other to talk about these bigger picture ideas. We're all in the same headspace of this is blockchain technology is where it's at. I mean, straight up, all of the transactions of humankind is going to be able to be documented forever. So the studies that we do, I'm really, really big into studying war right now because of a different project that I'm working on. But I'm learning a lot about cultural anthropology and the whys of man. Why did man decide to go to war together and slaughter 70,000 men? What was worth it? What was the driving factor for somebody to think that this was worth it? And that's something I'm studying, right? And it's interesting because we don't get the perspectives of the people who were actively involved, except for things that they wrote down, if they were one of the people who were educated enough to know how to write down their thoughts and feelings or communication. But we just know the stories passed along mostly verbally about what happened, and that's been changed from one person to another, one adaptation to another, on and on and on. And blockchain eliminates that. We can put our thoughts directly onto the blockchain, and it's not we can make it not mutable, and it'll be there forever. And people in the future, 100 years from now, are going to be able to see exactly who was interacting with who, exactly what projects were interacting with what projects, what kind of support system existed, and the actual study of man and the culture of man, the human experiment, the whole human experience is documented on the blockchain, and we all know that here. We all are those pioneers. Our interactions are going to be studied. They might not be able to get to see this conversation in inverse, but if we had this conversation on the blocks, then they'd be able to see that, and that's the kind of power that we have here.
Yeah, very, very good points about that with blockchain. Yeah, and you're really diving into that kind of aspect with your art and stories that are that are NFTs. That's a good point. It'll be here forever. We're creating a database of stuff, creativity, and it's there forever, and it's for us to use, and we're early using it. So be proud of that.
Yeah, and be more intentional about it, right? Because you're going to leave a legacy whether you like it or not if you're interacting on the blockchain, right? That's the reality. So if you understand that and you really like play with the ideas of what that could mean, know that could mean that is by the actions you take and implement to make it happen as well, right? So like if I, for example, I've expressed that I want to be a famous painter one day. I want to be a history book painter. I want to be that one day. That's my goal. That's what I am driving to do. I want to be an artist that's like Salvador Dali. That's my favorite artist for a lot of different reasons. And what derives value is context. And you can provide as much context as you want on the blockchain. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I'm putting my art on the blockchain, is because I can put all of the context of why I created a piece, what inspired me, what I used to create it, what I was listening to, who I was talking to. All of that's tied on the blocks. I don't have to put that on the blocks. It's already there. They know that while I was painting the first ever oil painting I ever wrote, Crypto Kumas was releasing his ninjas. And that was really cool, because I have them in my wallet and it's tracked by time. It's literally the timeline of what I was interacting with while I was creating it. And I can say whenever I started on the piece, when I finished the piece, have that on the blockchain, and really intentionally utilizing that blockchain data to tell the story of what I'm doing. And everyone has the opportunity to do that in here as well.
Like, I remember growing up as a kid and like your parents had like a photo book of like everything when you were younger, and you could like look back on it and see times that you obviously like couldn't remember as a kid. And it's kind of like that, like, when you want to look back at your collection and your templates and how many have been created, or how much artwork has been done. Like, it's nuts to be able to always see that and look back at it, and to see the evolution too. So you could look and see what was the piece I did compared to the most recent thing that you've done, and really see the growth of it. So yeah, it's a unique dynamic.
That's a great comparison. I never said it that way, but I totally agree. My mother kept a photo album like that of us growing up, before mobile phones, all these actual photos in a book, and big thick ones that if it wasn't for that, all of those memories would be mostly gone. You go through and flip through, and it's like, holy crap, so much you don't remember too, especially if you're a kid, and this is the same with our collections and our art. It's like, especially when it grows and grows, and you get a whole bunch, you can start looking at, it's almost like you're looking at a YouTube channel also. Like if you go back to the early first videos, it's kind of the same, like, holy crap, this person started out like this, and now they're here. That kind of goes the same with NFTs, but it's on blockchain. It's not on any server. How beautiful is that? It's going to be there forever.
That's crazy. Can you imagine if there was a, I don't know, like a tool that kind of like, how Facebook and Instagram and all those sites and Twitter was like, it would be like, oh, look what happened like this year, same day.
Like memories?
Yeah,
like Facebook memories reminding you all the cringe really posts that you had. Yeah.
I want that. I didn't know I wanted that. That's a good.
Yeah, that'd be dope. That'd be dope. Like, did you know this NFT was minted on this day? And like, that'd be so sick.
Do you remember when you collected this piece 2 years
ago? Oh gosh, if you go into collecting history, not just your own minting, but everybody's like has so much activity, and yeah, that's hilarious because
you won't hear the end of it for John Company saying that he misspelled one of the misspelled something on one of the schemas, and then it was just there forever.
Oh yeah, it happens.
Yeah, we call it a graveyard, a template.
The template graveyard.
Yeah. He was like telling me that, and he was like, "All right, don't put this. If you're gonna write it out, put it on a Word doc. Don't put it on Excel. Make sure you like check for everything." Oh my gosh. He was coaching throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, we used to always tell people, use the testnet. You don't like you have to use the testnet. I mean, I for one don't use the testnet, so I probably got some.
Don't follow your advice.
But, don't do as I say.
I don't either. I just meant, but definitely proofread before you hit the button. And mistakes happen. Every collection has them. If you go to the templates and sort with no assets, you're gonna find some random trinkets that are just there. That's the graveyard. ConsumerBreak has them too.
There's one thing I like to ask though, is that would be kind of cool if you could collect the actual NFT cards. That way you have it as a collection. You know, like people used to collect baseball cards, hockey cards. Like that would be kind of cool to see that happen. You know, you actually have the actual NFT cards in your hands.
Like physical
Yeah, I think
cards that have
Yeah,
NFT art
physical
on them.
cards. Yeah, that would be kind of cool to see that.
It would. That's actually so. Here comes the.
Here she goes.
The
Yeah,
viral
well,
talk.
that's actually what there's a couple of different companies who are trying to establish that, but I think that's what the power of physicals and redeemables really are. So that's kind of why I took the turn to be like, oh, if I want to be an artist one day, like how do I make that important in the blockchain? And I think that with I'm doing physical paintings redeemables now, and I know that Humble Drawings has been doing physical paintings as redeemables too, and I think that it would be really cool if they changed it to where it was mutable so you could still keep the NFT. I'd really like to see what happens whenever we have these redeemables that still exist afterwards. So there's a market that happens before the items redeemed. So like say I have a painting on the blocks and it can be redeemed for the physical painting and you still get to keep the NFT, but then you get the physical painting. So there's a area where it can be transacted before the physical painting is redeemed, like maybe because the physical painting is redeemed, the NFT holds types of value, or the value is valued differently after the physical painting's redeemed. But now there's two different markets. You have a market for the physical piece, you have a market for the digital piece. There's only two that ever exist, and there's two different types of market circulation happening. And I would really like to see how that plays out long term. But I think that more companies should integrate both Web 2 and Web 3, because there's not going to be onboarding if we're just going to abandon Web 2 completely, or if we're going to abandon the physical world completely. So I think you're right. I think there needs to be a lot more work whenever we're talking about like physical integration of digital items, and
Yeah, there's
that's
definitely
one way I'm doing
something.
it.
There's something that hits different about like Web3 native merch once it touches down. Like I have some like Shackers merch from a project that I'm a fan of. Also the Shnazzy saga. So the first book that you guys had did, I have that as well. And I mean, I don't know. I guess it's maybe because of my personalization and connection that I have with the artist or whatever it is, but just something different that I can't quite put my finger on about Web3 native stuff that touches down as physical merch versus just your regular physical merch. Like I could order something from Funko or Hot Wheels or whatever you may have it, and it come in the mail or whatever. But there's just some kind of different connection that Web3 native brand gets to bring. So yeah, I definitely agree there.
I think there's definitely a lot of options, including a lot of unexplored options. So there could be more, especially if said cards are their own physical card game where people are using them that way, and it's like you're representing on both. But I also just want to say that there's the NFTs kind of do a lot of that on their own, depending on what it is, But like as far as collectibles, or figurines and stuff. I mean, it's cool to have stuff in physical, but also we're collecting these NFTs the same way, and they're only digital, yes. And sure, Web2 people don't get that yet, but in and of itself, it's amazing, and you can play games online using them too. I think it's a great thing too. But then also, if there's other options that include viral or physicals, I think if there was real world utility to those, like a game or a product that you might use, I think that's better, more up there instead of just like a sticker or something.
Yeah,
but,
I think
people are
like
loving those too, though. So
like a limited Pokemon card. Think of
Yeah.
you think the Pokemon game when you're battling, and but a card that you could only get through that NFT. You know what I mean? So you have
especially
to
if they're
really-
collectibles and that people collect already or would collect and like see value in, like a Pokemon card, like that's awesome.
Yep.
And then it's the exclusivity of like getting that NFT to get it. That's awesome.
And I think, I mean, and also kind of coming from a resale market, and like I've done eBays and things like that, so it's like the value of that merch on secondary would be that much more higher because of what it takes kind of go through to get to it. Just that NFT Web3 factor on it. It can only be gotten through those kind of gates, if you want to call it. That it now values that physical merch that much more on secondary to a seller. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see how some of that.
It's still in the infancy, like we've been saying. So like as things pick up over the years, and Web 2 will go to Web 3. It's the next one up. It's the next number up. So at some point, we're going to start getting more people in. And there's just so much possibility using. And not only that, but like you can be an independent and do it. Anybody can do it, which is also just a brilliant thing. Like creating this collection and the blends and the packs just by itself is something I never would have imagined was even possible before this past year. Like, and I'm not a coder. I just go into a dashboard and do it. And it just opens up the creative possibilities so much. And when you have more people coming in and doing that kind of stuff, using their creative brain to just really go wild, it's going to be awesome. So it's not just for the big company. This is what I'm getting at. You don't need to be a big game company to create a game. You don't need to be a big production company to be an artist through the blockchain, which is awesome.
Yeah, and I want to, this is a little off topic, but also on topic. I wanted to point out this as well, because we're seeing a lot of giant, massive layoffs in the tech industry. And, I got laid off at Wax. I'm still in the tech industry. I moved into a different type of Web3 company afterwards. And that's a subsidiary of Animoca. But what's really interesting is people outside of tech don't know where these people are getting hired, and they're starting to learn it, especially as actual stock markets are changing. They're asking these questions. They're like, well, who's hiring these guys? And if they're not tuned into Web3, they don't realize, decentralized businesses are hiring these guys that got laid off at major tech industries. Like, Facebook fired a whole bunch of people. Guess who's hiring them? The people who are building on decentralized platforms. And that's because what's interesting about having a company like a mega company that has stocks is that people who own those stocks typically are people really high up as government officials, because they make a lot of money. And so it's not decentralized. The government controls a lot of the big major businesses, because the people who run the government own so much of the shares that they're on the boards of these companies, and they're having to make decisions like to tech in order to stabilize the economy right now. A lot of these big board chair members that are part of our government, that are actual government officials, are telling them to lay them off. And they have these big industries, these big tech industries like Facebook and Google and Microsoft are run by these people on the board of directors, and they're being told that they have to fire them, and they have to listen to them because the board of directors owns more shares, so they have a bigger ownership of the company. In decentralized platforms, that's not how that works. So all of a sudden, it's a separation between commercialism and being able to have a company and the government, and that's what's happening right now. And that's why it's being massively adopted, is because people are going to be more in control of not only their own assets as a collector, but also what they're creating and what they're doing and what their business practices are as the unique in business and unique business holders. And that's going to be what's really interesting to see play out long term, is going to be how this type of dynamic really affects the world around us, and how we can learn about it right now to be able to capitalize on where we want to be and what kind of role we want to play in the future. And I think that's a good note to kind of de-escalate this conversation.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I'm ready to jump up, like my
we are inspiring people
at the football game. Like I'm like hype right now, like.
We are hyped. This is amazing. But let's interrupt real quick with a Shnazzy potion, which it just dropped a minute ago, so there's already 21 sold. But get in there, get in there. Look, she made an art for it. This thing looks beautiful. Look at this potion. I love it. And of course, we're having hourly potion drops and there's 20 of them total. And tomorrow you can blend all 20 into a legendary from NFTOPIA, which includes, fun fact, in the unlockable content, that legendary includes a password to get an item in here in the metaverse, and you get 10 points on your Nuvo badge too from it, plus the collectible and the future utility. So there's just some things we're doing, and thanks to Shnazzy for creating the art to be a part of it. It's amazing. and
Yeah,
for this
absolutely.
talk. So like I expected a Shnazzy NFTs walkthrough like the other AMAs, but this is amazing. Having a
Sweet.
talk
I just
about
bought
this.
20 of those potions. Just
Cool,
let's
Buzz.
go.
Thank you.
20 of the same one? You can do that too.
No, I
Screw
love
it,
that.
why
Maybe
not,
I'll make
right?
another sync for the potions so that people who buy multiples have something they can do with them too. But
Yeah, it's up to the creator if they want to
yeah,
add more. They're basically all uncapped until Monday night, and then they're going to be locked. So you can get as many as you want. Then it's up to the creator to have additional things for 'em. Yep.
NFT
Yeah.
spin is open. Get your booty over there.
Get your
Woohoo.
booty.
That'd be fun. Also, before you go, Nuvo has been really great to host this hall, and they're running something I think Brinkman said. And so I put on the last slide of the booth next to me, the one with the physical art. I put it on the inside of the little URL, and on this one, it's on the last slide of the e-girl. So you can
Cool.
also collect your +1 for Nuvo.
Yeah, I had
as well
shared the
right here.
links earlier. I'm not sure where they went, but yeah, they are in the booth. So if you want to try to get them, hey, some people are really cranking. We got just a real quick leaderboard here. Randman and Bloody Zealous up there with 45. I'm assuming that's going to be the max right now. I don't know because it's the top, and I'm pretty sure you guys grinded it out to try to get everything that's available. So, but kudos to you, and of course Matt Jonas and 43 and on down. Crypto Foxy, Crackneck Nork Motorcar, killing it over here. The max is 100, but there's not 100 out, so that might be 45. I'm not too sure, but that is awesome, you guys.
Yeah, you guys are killing it. This is a fun event, and thanks, Brankman, and thank you, Waffles Kitty, especially for making sure that we're able to have these kind of interactions and come together collectively to have an NFTOPIA and do these kinds of things. Because I think this is exactly what we all need. Is just that grounding, really, of what we're doing and why we're here. And these kind of moments help us all remember. So thank you. I know that things are about to change. Everyone's about to go over and go to the main stage.
You're good. We still have 10 minutes.
Well, I wanted to do a little last word, and I wanted to invite people up who maybe haven't said anything, who maybe want to bring up something that they've been worried about, or if they're creative and they're struggling, if they have any questions too. But always remember, as a creative, you have a unique perspective and a voice that is needed right now more than ever. We're all going through it. Things are hard. We're on the cusp of big changes on a world level, and communicating is the most powerful tool that we have known to man. And you really embrace the challenges of the state of the world, but stay focused on you and your goals, and just keep creating and working towards being the person you want to be. And now, with that being said, I think if anybody in here is struggling, come up, tell us what you're struggling about. Maybe we can help be that support system for you.
Well said. You're so eloquent. That is amazing. Like, so inspirational and hype right now from this whole hour. But like she said, anybody that wants to talk, maybe do you have ideas? You want to start something, or any kind of struggles or anything about what you're doing? Let us know. And then also right there in the chat is a bounty block link. You got 5 minutes on that guy. Get in there.
Get that bounty block link. But yeah, the whole reason I wanted to have this conversation, because the whole past 2 months I've been really struggling with having a work-life balance, and I consider part of my life as my creative outlook. And I work a 9-to-5 job in a great field. I love the field that I work in, but it's not what I want to be doing in 10 years. It's not what I want to be doing in 5 years, let alone 2 years. I really want to be able to put myself in a position where I can do art and focus on creating art and making deals with people who want good art in this world. And I'm embracing that, but it's been a struggle to be able to balance everything, because I am a mom with 3 kids. I am a wife. I've got duties to the house. I've got duties to my family.
Yeah, that goes along with what we said earlier, taking this slow. The more stuff you have in your life, the more it's all about time. Creative people, they understand how precious time is. Time is so precious. So yeah, you need to put time into the things that matter to you most, and that's not going to be all your passion, at least for most people. So yeah, you want to, exactly, just what you just said. Work balance. Start slow.
Yeah.
If you have ideas, throw them to the community. We can get you can get feedback before you start. That's a beautiful thing too. You already have all these friends in here that are happy to give you feedback on what you have planned before you do anything. So just throw it out there.
Yeah, and it's such a, like I said earlier, like communication is really ultimately like what the next of web is, because we talk about web 1, web 2, web 3. Web 1 was primarily just being able to interact with people on a world scale, right? Like it was being able to watch content, it was being able to read blogs, it was being able to see games that happened all over the world if you had access to the internet. That was web 1. Web 2 is whenever all of a sudden you could buy something that somebody else made with intention somewhere around the world. You could buy that thing from eBay. You could order that thing from Amazon at the time.
And social media with the communication that was two-way also.
Yeah,
so that's
absolutely.
It's all web 2. Yeah.
Yeah, well, web 2 also is that transition whenever you're communicating with those people on the web that you admire, and all of a sudden you're paying subscription fees to those people because you like them, right? You're able to buy something. And web 3 really ultimately is like taking that ability to buy something and actually owning it. So on on Audible, whenever I buy a digital book and I can just listen to somebody else read it, I can't resell that shit. That's web 2. But if it was resellable, then all of a sudden we're transitioning into web 3. And I think there's lots of examples about that.
Ownership of digital, yeah.
And
everything that comes with it. But it's really simple to say it that way, but yeah.
Well, no, whenever we talk about the communication, like you were talking about, where social media was really big, there's going to be a communication layer of what web3 is too, and I think we're experimenting with that right now. I think that's where the innovation really needs to happen for mass adoption to take over, and we are all here able to walk that dog. We have to get from point A to point B. The people who don't know about point B aren't going to make it happen. That falls on us. That's our responsibility, if we choose for it to be. And that's where I'm at right now, is how I play in that role, and that's what I'm trying to do. But I really needed the reminder that I didn't have to be secluded to have this conversation, and that's why I decided, when I got to have this ability to talk to people today, that this is what I wanted to talk about, because I'm an extrovert and I've been reclusive and I've been keeping out everything that I've been thinking about and going through to myself for the past month, and that hasn't helped anybody. And I know that if I have these conversations, it would help me and other people grow together, and that's why I did it this way. So that's why, if you want to have a conversation, maybe you might be a little shy about what you're going through right now, but if you want to have a one-on-one conversation, I'm here. I know a lot of other people are here. Kuma's is here. Like Bregman's here. We are.
Kuma's is always here.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna say there was a point where there was a Wax Twitter space that you did. I think when you were still doing spaces for Wax. And you talked about like plants, like having plants around and this and that. And there's a plant, like what are the ones that have like that gel material in it, like an aloe?
Aloe, yeah.
Yeah, that's literally right next to your book. So if you want to realize maybe how much you might kind of touch people more than you might think, that's. You know what I mean? Like you get your message across, Snaz. So you reach the people deeper than you might think. So the time that you take and the depths that you go, like, you know what I mean? Don't be in the darkness, like trying to take down stuff on your own and all that. Yeah, we're here, and you reach us more than you might think you do.
That means a lot to me, Kumas. I'm gonna start crying. Well, on that note, we have 5 minutes before the main stage event. We can all take a bio break.
I'm sorry.
No, that was good.
That was a heck of an hour, you guys. Well, first of all, we have a winner of the bounty block. So congratulations to npcrq.wham. I think that's Trepier. You get a common pin. But thank you for this past hour. This is great to have a talk like this. The AMAs are also great, a marathon of them, but a little break of something to like a conversation like this, almost like a space, and have people listen in and talk was just amazing. So I really appreciate that too. And yeah, the next place up is the main stage, where we will have the official main stage stream. Actually, I need to switch streams. I need to go on to NFTOPIA. So I think maybe I'm just going to stop streaming without a raid and start NFTOPIA soon. and you guys can go there. But the location will be at the main stage. And if everybody wanted to like teleport there, we can make our way there. But thank you very much. Thanks Kumas too for providing input too. That was really, really good.
That was great. Thank you, everyone. All right. Let's go to the main event. Love you guys. Make sure you grab your Nuvo +1 RP. From both things. That way you got it. All right.
All right. I'm gonna actually go ahead and stop the stream, and maybe it'll be a little faster getting over there. So thank you guys for tuning in. We're gonna be at NFTOPIA stream next, assuming I get it working right. And then keep on carrying it forward. The schedule has the Twitch links and everything, so we'll continue the party all the way till late tonight. Peace!